Yeah, so today I'd like to talk to you about a multi-trillion-dollar change that's taking place in equity, capital raising, and trading, all based on the blockchain, and I'm talking about digital equity securities or equity tokens. But let's step back and first look at how capital is raised right now, the VC model. This is basically the unblockchain model. It's totally centralized, not very democratic, and it's not that inclusive, but it's existed forever. So you'd say, hey, it must be hugely successful. But actually, 95% of VCs either lose money or break even, and that 5% that do well basically identifying companies early on and bringing them all the way through to IPO. But the IPO time frame in the last decade has went from 4.3 years to about 8 years. So now enter the ICO. And it was awesome, because for the very first time, you had a technology that was totally decentralized, all those benefits of blockchain, combined with raw and unabated capitalism. And that was really, really good, and it was used by a lot of very good actors early on to try to build the technology and platform forward. But it was good until it was bad, and then it kind of got ugly. And so I got involved in this space actually in 2012, and at that point it was one of my few kind of corporate gigs. I've been an entrepreneur, but I was CEO for a joint venture between MasterCard and Telefonica for global financial services, mobile global financial services worldwide. And I have 5 kids, and one of the kids is really into gaming, and so in 2012 we set up his machine so he could do Bitcoin mining, which worked out really well because he paid for college. But the main thing he'd always ask me was, is this ever going to get regulated? Because it's awesome. And I was like, listen, having worked in compliance and regulatory environment, everything is unregulated until it gets big. And that's basically where we've gotten to now. So at Finova, I've been an entrepreneur since the internet days, always raised venture capital. And I don't know if you've ever had one of these moments like, why am I doing this? So at Finova, we raised over $100 million from venture capitalists and private equity guys. And we actually had a term sheet, a late-stage term sheet from a billionaire entrepreneur you'd know, where they wanted to invest. And I actually said to myself, why am I doing this? And so I left. And the real reason I questioned was the Delaware Blockchain Initiative. So as you likely know, about 83% of the IPOs in the United States come from Delaware. 65% of corporate 500 companies come there. But this initiative, which was a couple years under works and was approved in August of last year, allows you to move your equity stack onto the blockchain. This is kind of the glue of what I see as a new way to do things. So I sat down with Keough, who've been my attorneys for probably 22 years, and said, I think there's a way to combine kind of the cool stuff about the ICO with an IPO, but try to do it within a regulatory framework. And so together we came up with this process or pathway called the Jobs Crypto Offering, or JCO. And the way it works, basically, is the first step is a Reg D, but we don't use a SAFT. We use a new type of document called a block safe. So it's kind of a blockchain-based safe. And you can then move your equity stack onto the blockchain. You then can go further down the path if you want and actually submit a Reg A plus offering. There you need 2 years audited financials. You need you raise up to $50 million. And as you know, with a Reg A plus, normally you could take that paper and put it on NASDAQ. But here we're tokenizing the shares that are on the blockchain and taking those tokens, and then we're going to put them onto an ATS exchange. So this is the idea of looking at creating a blockchain-based path to raise capital from initiation all the way through to IPO. You can do it slow, you can do it fast, at any way you want. Because the basic change taking place is trillions of dollars and really interesting opportunities are going to be available to the investors worldwide based on the blockchain. It's a fundamental thing that's coming. And if you ask the millennials and Generation Z, who are going to be the investors of the future, they don't want to own a share of stock in Ford, they don't know who Jamie Dimon is, and they don't care what he says, but they're looking for digital financial products that fit their lives. And I think the blockchain is a perfect illustration of this, and the whole digital equity securities and equity tokens are this new market that will really fit the needs of these folks. So kind of to end up, if you look at all the changes in the marketplace, this is a huge disruption. And I always like to end in a quote, and this is attributed to Gandhi, actually, but he never really said it. But as you can see, in this blockchain crypto process, we've been at certain points in this right now, and you can choose where we are right now. But the main and probably most important point is fundamental technologies like this truly do change the world. Generally, early on, they're overestimated, but in the long run, they're immense. Thank you very much.